Welcome to episode 6 of GearGeek.com, the interview series. My name is Matt. I'm joined by my co-host Zach. Zach, how you doing today, my friend?
Oh, I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Can't complain. The playoffs are rolling along. It's been a pretty good playoff so far, I'd say. We got the Leafs Panthers series, man. It's tough to get a read on. I was talking to my buddy about it just yesterday. Obviously it's at 2-2 right now. And I told him that at this point I think the Panthers are winning it because it just seems like obviously Matthews isn't healthy. He's playing, something's bothering him. He's not playing to his he's not his regular self, let's say it that way. And just right now, it seems like their offense has gone cold at the worst time. So I think the Panthers are going to do it. And I don't know about at this point. It also seems like Carolina's going to do it after their commanding win yesterday. Um, Dallas and Winnipeg, that's going to be a big one tonight. That shows what's going to happen there. And obviously, it'd be tough to say that Vegas is going to come back against Edmonton. I don't know what's your opinion on any of those there.
Yeah, I mean, Toronto, Florida. I mean, for me, it's Toronto, Florida, Dallas, Winnipeg are the two series that stand out the most to me because I feel like it just feels to me those are going to be the Stanley Cup matchup is coming out of those two matchups there. Like, there's a clear difference between those teams, I feel, and the other teams. I mean, Carolina, Washington. Washington had something special going on this season, and I think it really helped with Ovechkin, chasing Gretzky and all that.
Yeah.
And I think now they have exceeded expectations by so much that now it's kind of like coming back to earth a little bit. And Carolina's the team that you would think was a Stanley Cup champion multiple times over the past like 5 years, just for how praised they are and how good of a team they are, and Rod the Bod, man, really has that team running as a unit. But I just think you can't go against the Stanley Cup defending champions in Florida. If Toronto can somehow wake up and get those last two wins and really move on, it's like I really feel like their momentum's going to take them to the final at that point. But again, they're not doing themselves any favor. Like you said, offense going cold. Austin Matthews, something's
Yep.
got to be up. He's in nine, I believe it was like nine second round games. He scored zero goals in his
Oh yeah.
career.
Yes, yeah. He
Yeah,
only has what,
so
like 3 or 4 assists, I think they said, or
something like that.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's that's the one I'm just always looking at. Like that's just because that was one of those series. I was like, oh man, after game two, I was like, this might be the year. Like Toronto's looking different. They're figuring it out. And almost like halfway through this game three, they seemed like they were gonna pull this off. And then all of a sudden Florida was like, all right, enough of it. We're being the bullies again. And they're just taking Toronto out of their game completely. And it's been fun to watch.
Right. No, definitely. And I mean, yeah, we can say, the Leafs are the Leafs. It is what it is, but not to we've got to shed some light on this because I feel like not too many people have been. And going back to the Winnipeg Dallas series, so if the Winnipeg Jets don't find a way to make this happen, and of course I could be changing my tune after after the game tonight, but if Winnipeg doesn't find a way to come back and at least get to the conference final here, then we as a hockey community need to start talking about how the Winnipeg Jets are not that much further than the Toronto Maple Leafs in terms of being, whatever you want to call them, playoff chokers, whatever. And because not many people give the Jets that label. Nobody's saying, okay, it's time for the Jets to break up their core. I will say though, I have seen a lot more people, starting to say like, is Connor Hellebuck really the guy? Can he get it done in the big moments? Because, and mind you, it's also been pretty clear as day that his struggles have been clear as day, I should say. So maybe that's a start. But I just feel like most people are not are not criticizing the Winnipeg Jets enough for underachieving as much as they have been.
100%. And I think that's because they don't have that same core group as the Maple Leafs. They don't have the same media attention as the Maple Leafs. They don't, the eyes aren't on them as much
Yeah,
as,
the media attention goes without saying. Yeah, but even
yeah.
but your previous point was better. That and that was a part of my ignorance there. You're right. Like some of those guys, and they're good players, no doubt, but they're not the same names as Austin Matthews, William Nylander, Mitch Marner. So yeah, you're 100% right there.
But yeah, and I get the media plays a big part of it, but too, it's just I think people don't because they're not talked about as much and they're not as advertised as much, especially in the US. I mean, I can't speak for Canadian viewership and how they do their games up there for nationally broadcast and all that. But I mean, you don't see the Jets very often here. I mean, I'll see them a lot with the Blackhawks, obviously being Central Division rivals and all that. But it's just the Winnipeg Jets. They are the Leafs of the West. Like it's no question about it. And every year going through, making the brackets and all that kind of stuff, and it's like theoretically you should be putting those teams farther, but it's like at the same time it's like, well, until they do it, like that's the team. Like they have their we've seen this story every year, expectations high, here we go, and then falter in first round, second round. So
Yeah.
um and yeah, and Hellebuck is just not doing any favors with his play on the road. It's so crazy that there's three versions of, like four versions of this guy. You got regular season Hellebuck, you got home Hellebuck, and you got road Hellebuck. Like and playoffs, I should say, for those two. It's insane at how different, and it's like he just forgets how to play the game, especially in the playoffs, especially on the road. Like I think he's what now? Lost every single road playoff game this year so far.
And got pulled in all the road playoff games against the Blues. That was
Yeah.
mind-boggling when I realized it in Game 6 that he had been yanked from every single one in St. Louis. But yeah, you said it, man, and that's it's just it's the reason why we watch this time of year, especially because of just how much more intense it is, and it really separates the true gamers from the guys who just can't get it done. But we still got a long way to go. It's going to be a good finish to the playoffs. My pick is still in it. I won't reveal who it is right now, but because I don't want to jinx myself. But my pick is still in it, and I'm hoping it is still it only adds to the momentum and the excitement that we've had so far in the playoffs. But
Oh yeah.
from an equipment standpoint, now, I don't know if you've noticed it different, but to me, it just seems like there's a lot less changes going on and a lot less surprises. And obviously, there's a lot more less. It's that time of year where there's less teams in, so that's part of it. That's the nature of the beast. But I just remember in years past. Like to give you an example, like I haven't seen, I feel like I haven't seen a new Alpha LX3 user in forever. And I
Yeah.
figured that like one of these Warrior guys, um, one of these Warrior guys on any of these teams would have used one by now. And some of the other stuff, like when are we gonna get another pair of Vaporfly Light skates? Of course, maybe some of these things are out there and we just haven't seen them yet. But it really seems like it's a little bit slower from that side of it. I don't know if you have a different reaction to it, but that's the vibe I'm getting from an equipment standpoint right now in the playoffs.
Yeah, I see what you're saying too. Because yeah, that's one of the things I do is like when I'm watching it, I happen to notice, the changes and stuff like that. But to me, it's like it's surprising because one, you think the manufacturers in the prime time would want these new models out there getting gearing up for their release this summer. But at the same time, I'm not as surprised because like we'll talk about in our interview um coming up here, there's just players are very particular about their stuff. And so it's like, I don't know, even if it's just a graphic change or something like that, it's like, who knows, maybe guys not the right time of year to be messing around changing graphic up, even if it's literally just a superstition or look or feel or something like that. I mean, that could potentially be playing into it. I mean, hockey players were weird creatures of habit here, and you know, once you find something you like, you try to run with it a little bit. I feel.
Most definitely. Most definitely. That's but but like I said, I feel like that wasn't a problem, say 3 or 4 years ago, but
Yeah,
who knows, like maybe things have changed and it's just this crop of guys in the playoffs are those guys who are the creatures of habit and they're like, nope, like I'm not switching up any any graphic or nothing until at least the off season. I mean, because we I remember we had mentioned it a few times last year. Like we expected Matthew Kachuk to be using the code Encrypt Pro at some point in the playoffs, but but he didn't, and I mean that's just like that's a perfect example of one of those guys who just refuses to move on until he's in the clear for lack of a better term. So yeah, I mean that could be it. But having said that, um, we still have a few rounds to go, a few series to go, so that there's still plenty of time for some of those surprises. And yes, we like you said, we do have a great interview coming up. We're going to be joined shortly by Lucas Mercuri, former UMass Minuteman, current Tampa Bay Lightning prospect, recently made his pro debut with the Syracuse Crunch. Going to be some good conversation with him about how that process went down into him becoming a pro. And also, he shared a lot of cool notes about some of his equipment habits and superstitions and whatnot. So more on that in a bit. But also, one thing I wanted to touch on with you here is the World Championship. Obviously, is well underway, and I know some people kind of brush it off, but me, I feel like more so in recent years, like just especially because of the cool equipment notes that we see out of the World Championship. They always give me a good laugh. Always give me a nice like eye raise, like whoa, like what's going on here? So it's always fun to see some of that stuff. Like just the other day I saw, and I know like some of the international so some of the countries have partnerships with certain manufacturers, like um Sweden is with CCM, so everybody's wearing CCM helmets, but the NHL guys, some guys do get the pass to wear whatever gloves that they were wearing in the NHL, so I get that. But then like there's other stuff like on the Canadians and the US are a little bit more lenient, though we've had a lot of people asking why the USA team gloves, like the Bauer gloves in particular, the cuffs are covered up. And I saw a few Warriors covered up as well, but I also saw some Warriors that were exposed. My best guess is that it's because of the new partnership with CCM. So they're trying to um cover up some of them as a result of the partnership with CCM. Maybe they're honoring the ones who have like an official agreement with said company. But yeah, I guess to answer all the people who have been reaching out and saying why why are USA's gloves covered up like that, I guess that would be the best one we got for you. But it is interesting. It is interesting how some of them get special treatment and some of them don't. but that's pretty
Yeah.
much the long and the short of it.
Was there any disappointment from you seeing Team USA not rocking the Four Nations gloves?
Yes, there was, as a matter of fact. But it's I really like that whole color scheme on honestly from the Four Nations. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's I'll tell you, and it's funny because I'm pretty sure I just saw like Crosby was wearing his like exact Four Nations gloves um out there. Or wait, no, maybe I'm mixing that up. No, I don't think he was because I think his Four Nations gloves had a red cuff, and I don't remember seeing that red cuff. But my brain is just fried right now from that. But one interesting note from the Canadians that I saw the other day was Phil Deneau. Now, I thought for sure he had, an official deal with Warrior, but he was wearing Bauer gloves and a Bauer helmet, even I believe. And I know Hockey Canada's partnered with Bauer, but I thought he would be one of those guys who um, would be granted an exception and able to wear his Warrior gloves or even a Warrior helmet. But now that I think of it, in LA, he does wear Bauer pants, so maybe he's not official with Warrior, and maybe um, they asked him nicely, and he agreed to just wear Bauer gloves for the World Championship. But man, I tell you, it's just like there's no. It's unfortunate that we don't have access to more answers for these countless questions that always come up in the world of
Yeah.
equipment. But that's what makes it fun, right? Like that's why we're here. That's why our account is where it is because like we love putting this stuff out there and asking the people why, or hey, check this out because it just like I said, endless questions and some of them we unfortunately may never get an answer to, but it's a heck of a lot of fun to see some of these trends and see how they work out.
Closest seem good to conspiracy theories in hockey.
Yeah, oh yeah. Or conspiracy theories in general, but
There
but
you
but
go.
no. All right, yeah. Well, without further ado, we got a pretty good interview coming up right now. So we will turn it over to our guest here on episode 6, Lucas Mercury, hopefully future Tampa Bay Lightning, at the very least, expected Syracuse Crunch and former UMass Minuteman. We hope you folks enjoy. Now, here on episode 6 of GearGeek.com, the interview series, we are so pleased to be joined by our next guest. He is a native of Montreal, Quebec, Canada, was a former 2020 draft pick of the Carolina Hurricanes, recently had his rights traded to the Tampa Bay Lightning, signed with the Tampa Bay Lightning, and just finished up a short stint with the Syracuse Crunch in the American Hockey League. 4-year UMass Amherst forward. Thank you for joining us today, Lucas Mercury.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Definitely. We got a lot of good stuff to get into. Um, Obviously you have your pro career just got your first taste of it and a lot of exciting times ahead for you right now. But first and foremost, tell us a little bit about, where you are right now and your plans for the off season ahead.
Yeah, I think right now I'm in Amherst. I got here last week. Our season ended in Syracuse, and then I kind of just traveled back. Nice drive. It's like 3.5 hours, not too bad. So I got back, and now kind of just decompressing a little bit, taking a little break. Obviously, it's been a little crazy the past couple months, but finished my last college assignment yesterday, so I'm
Right, there we
excited.
go.
Yeah,
Nice.
excited about that. The school's coming to an end here, and yeah, for summer plans, I start on next Monday. Just start training in Montreal, skating, working out in the morning, all that stuff, and I'm going to Toronto for a little bit to to work with Tampa's development crew for about a week, and then I'll head to development camp, and then try do well there, make a good impression, and then just take a week off after that, and then it's kind of guns blazing after that. Just training up until main camp, rookie camp, all that stuff. So I'm excited.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it being like a crazy few months for you. Going for your deep run with UMass in national championship tournament, then thinking you're hitting hit free agency and then having your rights trades, assigning to making your pro debut. Take us through the whole process for the last few months for you. Like, just have you been able to like really sit back and like comprehend what's been going on with you, or is it still kind of one of those like autopilot mode? Let's just get through this and let's go.
Yeah, like the past week, I've kind of been like, holy cow, like this is like kind of crazy. But when I was there, I was just like, yeah, like you said, like just autopilot, kind of just not going through the motions, but just like being present, like just kind of being where my feet are and stuff, and uh and going through it. But obviously, like throughout the season, it was like pretty stressful. Like I didn't really know like what was gonna happen. My agent kind of had a good idea, but he wasn't. I wasn't too, I don't know, kind of interested in knowing, really, because I kind of just wanted to focus on UMass and trying to go and win some championships, and we went on a really good run. But yeah, like I said, I wasn't too focused on it. It actually happened like right after the Western game. My agent kind of called me and said, "Hey, like there's 6, 7 teams that like you, and I think this is the best spot for you. I think we're gonna get this done." And I trust them. Like I was like, hey, let's get it done. So I'm not gonna get into too much detail on like kind of what happened with Carolina. I have like a lot of respect for their like organization and everything like they did for me, like believing in me, drafting in me, and all that stuff. But in the end, like I'm so pumped to be like where I'm at. And everything happens for a reason, and obviously I'm super grateful that my agent was able to figure that out. And you don't hear of a lot of like teams like trading like after the deadline and stuff, so that was like kind of cool to feel a little kind of wanted, for someone to trade for you, and kind of get started with Tampa. So I'm pretty pumped.
Is it hard to not like so like when your agent told you like yeah like the Bolts are one of these teams and they're about to trade for your rights and we're gonna get a deal done here, like did your mind immediately go to, oh man, like maybe one day playing with Kucherov, playing with Braden Point, with Victor Hedman, Vasilevsky's my goalie, like is it basically impossible to block that kind of stuff out?
Yeah, like I didn't even like think of that. I was just like Tampa, like, oh, like it's unreal. Florida, like it's pretty sick. Like honestly, like before like the Western game, like a couple weeks before, my agent was like, listen, like we'll get into all that stuff like when the season ends, like on like just trust me. And I was like, all right, like I'll just trust you. Like I'm kind of scared, like I want to know where I'm like what's gonna happen. And at first, it was another team. I won't say who it was, and I was pretty like pumped about that. Like, hey, like this is happening. It's gonna happen. I was like, oh, okay. That sounds awesome too. Like, I would never say no to any like contract in the NHL from any team in the NHL. Um, so I just want to make that clear. But I mean, once I heard it was Tampa after Western, like I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. So I'm very fortunate, very excited.
Definitely, yeah. And so then obviously it kind of the excitement of signing officially with the Bolts kind of runs its course a little bit there, and you get assigned to Syracuse. You get your first taste of professional hockey. Obviously it's a major step from D1 to the AHL. Was it everything you expected, or were there any moments um that caught you off guard, sort of like a welcome to the pros moment from the short time that you already got to spend there?
Yeah, I think like it was awesome. It was everything I expected. Like you when like coming being in a program like UMass, you're like the coaches talk about like how it is being a pro, how different it is, like the independent side of it, like building like your routine and all that, like all that stuff, like just becoming a man and you know, taking care of your body and like, you know, cooking for yourself. So I mean, like I've been living off campus here for 2 years. Like I love cooking. Like I love like the independent side, like working out on my own, like all that kind of stuff. Like pretty try and be dialed in with like, you know, my health and all that stuff. But I mean, yeah, like probably the welcome to the like pro moment was just like I think my first shift. I saw Revo, uh, Ryan
Oh,
Reeves
no
on the other
way.
side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, like, and all the boys are saying how he's in tonight. Oh, like Ryan Reeves is in tonight, and I was like, oh, okay. Like I was, oh, like all the boys are like chirping me in the room, like, oh, who gets the debut versus Revo? Like I was like, like I'm kind of scared here, but I mean, it ended up being fun. But yeah,
You didn't did you come across him at all on the ice there or
yeah, a little bit. I mean, there was a point where a couple of the boys at UMass were watching, and I didn't know this happened, but there was like a puck and one of our guys gloved it down, and I touched it because if I didn't, they would have went into our end. And after I touched it, one of their guys finished their hit on me, which was just like kind of like a little chippy thing. So, and then there was like a little scrum. I, you know, gave him one back, and apparently, like I don't know, I guess he tried grabbing me from the back a little bit, and I didn't know because I couldn't see him, but like I got like a couple texts being like, "Oh, like Revo tried to grab you there," and I was like, "Ah." I was like, "Thank God he did it."
imagine you get like you're in that scrum and you hear like from Revo, "Who are you, kid?" or something
Yeah,
like that.
oh yeah, it's your first
Oh.
game, buddy. Like, who are you? I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's hilarious. I didn't even yeah, looking back on it, I didn't realize that your debut was against the Marlies, but that's
Yeah,
pretty funny. Yeah, what
it
a
was
what a
funny.
way to get out there and make your pro debut.
Yeah,
Hilarious.
that's funny.
So going back to 2020, when this all really got started for you, this road to the NHL, the draft, it was the COVID draft, so it was all remote. You were a 6th round pick of Carolina. What do you remember from that day? Like, where were you when you got the call that you were getting drafted? Achieving your ultimate dream.
Yeah, I think I was in Des Moines, Iowa, because you know, like couldn't play like prep school and all that. Like everything was just shut down, right? So I got to Des Moines, Iowa around like August, and our season didn't start until like October. So I was waiting there for, I think the draft was in October, right? So
Yeah.
I was there, and I didn't even know if I was getting drafted or not. My agent said expect to get drafted, like you know, 4, 5, 6, 7, like around those rounds. And but honestly, you just never know. Like in those rounds, like you never know who's going to get picked or whatnot. I talked to a good amount of teams, and but yeah, throughout the day, like I wasn't really sure what was going to happen. And obviously, as the time goes on, you get a little bit more stressed out. But I was actually on the phone with my one of my best buddies, Devin Levi, plays on Rochester,
Yep.
and we were on FaceTime, and he was supposed to get drafted too, and we're just like, nah, I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think this is gonna happen. And then he starts just freaking out on the phone, like just starts yelling. I'm like, what? Like, and then it didn't pop up on my screen, but obviously, like my name ended up getting up there with Carolina, and he's like, dude, you just got drafted. I'm like, come on, stop, like you're joking. And then it finally popped up, and then hung up on him right away, and, and just like all my dad and stuff, they all started calling me, and it was a cool moment. But I mean, going through college hockey now, you're kind of talking to guys, and getting drafted is like a really really small, like, but obviously super cool step. but you're seeing like all these college free agents, like, it's just crazy. So I mean, it's a cool moment, but it's a pretty small step. You got to really earn everything like after that. So
Yeah, so and that was in October, like you said, um,
mhm.
and you were in Des Moines that year,
Yeah,
but it was a shortened year, so you guys weren't you guys didn't start playing until what, like probably another like 2 or 3 months after that, or before you
maybe
came
like a
back.
couple of weeks, like maybe like November
Oh,
1st. Yeah, maybe like
oh,
late
okay, yeah,
October too. Like, but we were getting like canceled like throughout the year for 2 weeks because like somebody would get COVID, like you just stop playing for 2 weeks. Like, but they were honestly pretty good about it. I was able to get like 40 games in, I think, or something. So
yeah. Yeah, because the NHL didn't pick back up until January that year. Obviously, they had the Cup run in September that year, but
no,
yeah.
yeah,
So what the USHL still pretty much
yeah,
covers the whole season.
yeah. We were going, like we were still going.
Yeah,
I mean, when you're in Des Moines, Iowa, and
yeah,
when you're in Iowa, I don't know if many people cared too much about what was going on
yeah.
around
We
there.
won't get into, but all those USHL cities are in the Midwest, where a lot more
Yeah,
conservative states where they probably don't. There was probably more lenient, laws at the
yeah,
time. So
yeah. It
I guess
didn't
it worked
seem
out to your
didn't seem
benefit.
like a problem. Honestly, it was nice.
Yeah, good stuff then in that case. So I think we'll get into some of your um your college career a little bit later, but shifting back to this year and what's coming up. I think like all of us here, you guys might be able to recall like and Lucas, obviously not breaking any news to you because you guys pretty much get back to camp and get back to skating early when you were in college, but it just seems like everybody gets to, their destinations earlier and earlier every single year. So I've just always been curious if you had an idea of when specifically that be, but obviously you'll have that's like a figure it out as you go type of thing.
Yeah, yeah. Everything kind of happens really quick, so I've heard. So yeah.
Yeah. And when you do get down there, what are the chances you can ask Nikita Kucherov why he still uses the original all black Vapor Hyperlight graphic over his G3 build?
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be having many combos with the big dogs, but yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'll be picking some guys' brains on some gear and things like that for sure.
Yeah, that was a joke, by the way. I don't want you to ruin any relationship with Cooch or
Oh,
Hedman because Hedman does the same thing with that Geo. So,
yeah,
yeah, obviously, but that'd be cool if it did come up spontaneously.
yeah, that'd be funny.
Yeah.
Uh,
So sorry, Zach. Just
no, I
really.
was say so born and raised Montreal. Obviously pretty easy to get into hockey, but really what's your story with getting to the game? And who was your main influence, team player? I mean, big Montreal kids, so definitely the Leafs, right?
Honestly, I love the Leafs growing up. Like Leafs were my team. Just
No,
because
are you being serious?
I'm being serious.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow. Okay. Wow.
I know, but I also love the Habs too. But like, I'm not like a fan, like diehard fan for like a certain team. Like, I'm just like a hockey fan in general. But like, I love watching the Habs. I love the games at the Bell Center. But my best friend's his dad like grew up in Toronto, so we just spent so much time together that we would just always watch the Leafs. And then Matthews came, like all these guys, and obviously there was a lot of years that kind of sucked, but once those guys started coming in, I was like, oh, I was just like, I'm a Leafs fan, like it's what it is, what it is. But um, like I said, I'm not really. I just love hockey, like in general. But yeah, I mean, my story, like I loved like Anze Kopitar growing up, kind of like Barkov, like I like Coyle. He's with the Avs now. Like those guys, like just 200-foot players that play the game the right way, and will do a lot to help their teams win and things like that. But I mean, my dad played pro. He played in the QMJHL. He kind of led me to go into the college route instead of playing juniors in Quebec and stuff. So obviously, he's been a major influence in my life and throughout hockey. And yeah, I'm super grateful to have a really good support staff around me.
Good stuff. Yeah. Were you in, obviously it varies by player, but did you play other sports growing up, or was it just hockey all year round, or summers off at least, or what was some of your other hobbies?
Yeah, I played a little bit of soccer like growing up. Just like before hockey when I was, I don't know, maybe like 5, 6, 7, like around then. But then once kind of started playing hockey a little bit more, my dad kind of made me decide. I said, oh, obviously hockey. So it's kind of just been hockey, hockey, hockey since then. Just training in the summer. I started at a really young age. Been training like a lot. My parents really got me into it, like power skating when I was young, like skills training. I was always on the ice, and working out and stuff. Kind of became a lot more serious as I kind of got into my teens around 13, 14, 15 years old. Started training a lot more off the ice, which has helped a lot.
Awesome. Yeah. And so I guess, we're not trying to think too far ahead here, but one day you picture yourself in the NHL. Is the Bell Center like the number one place that you really, can't wait to get to one day and step on the ice at?
Yeah, yeah, it's got to be the Bell Center. Like, if I'm ever, lucky enough to play there, it'll be a awesome experience. And I've only heard great things and seen great things from just being in the city. I live right in the city in Montreal, so that's obviously you could see the atmosphere in there. I actually went to go watch a game, in December, and going to games and when I was young too. Like it's just so cool, and I think every player in the NHL says the best Bell Center's best place to play. Like that's kind of what I've heard. So
Yeah.
that'd be exciting.
No, but yeah, I mean, you've been on a few NHL ice sheets already, but obviously, yeah, I couldn't imagine with 21,000 Quebecois going nuts and that sort of thing, and they'll know who you are too. So it's like obviously, like if you're not playing for the Habs, like they're not going to be cheering for you, but you can bet like they know all the local guys and whatnot. So.
Yeah,
Who knows? Like maybe if they hear your name announced for like an assist or a goal, they give you a nice little cheer at the very least.
yeah, maybe we'll see. I'm excited if that happens for sure.
Yeah. So shifting a little bit here to, the equipment side, where would you put yourself on the scale of gear guy? Like, are you particular about your sticks, skates, equipment, or are you a little bit more ma low maintenance when it comes to that? We don't have a preference either way. We know everybody's different, but where do you stand on that scale?
Yeah, I'd say I'm a little not high maintenance, but I think just like I like things like to be just a certain way. I think gear in general, like not really like helmet, like visor, all that stuff. Like that's gloves, like that's all okay with me. Pants, like that's fine. But I think something I'm really like picky with is blades. Like I just need my blades to be like the way like I really like them to feel like if I'm missing an edge or if I don't feel like I'm getting the right like dig or anything like or like I could feel like when my profile is like off or like my sharpening's off kind of thing. Um, and I blame that on my dad because he he would get my blades like sharpened from you guys know Elite like that elite machine that like it's like
Yeah,
sharpened
yeah.
by a laser instead of
Yeah.
like by hand. So he would, I would get like the most perfect skate sharpenings like when I was like 13, 14. So I just like I'm just so used to like this like laser profile, laser, sharpening, all that stuff. So I'll blame that on him that now I need to have like my blades feeling real nice. But yeah, skates, like I switched from Bauer to CCM, like not really a problem with that. But yeah, sticks. I've been to like the CCM headquarters like in Montreal, and I kind of got like suited up and custom like sticks and stuff. So that was really nice.
It's funny you mentioned that because one of our previous guests, Jake Kugler, he said the same thing about like he's like my blades like they have to be perfect. So
Yeah.
if you two are both saying that, then I guess that I wouldn't be shocked at all if you know more guys across the pros, D1, you name it, are the same way. I guess.
Mhm.
Wow, there's the finer details as like all the way down to the blades is something that a lot of more people are getting into. That's
Yeah.
very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I don't know if you guys know a lot about like the profiles and stuff. Like there's so many like different things like you could
Yeah.
do. Like been so fortunate here at UMass, like Josh Penn, like our equipment manager, he's got the machine here. So like he could profile them on the laser and he does the sharpenings on the laser and all the guys here will get like fitted for like their specific profiles for like what they like. So if you like something with more glide, you like something more dig, like I think what I have is like an SCS2 like build for like my I think it's like Sidney Crosby special or something is kind of like the acronym of it. So, but there's like an SCS1, SCS2, SCS3, SCS4, I think. So I think, don't quote me on that if that's the acronym. Maybe someone was joking with me when they said that, but yeah, that's kind of what I got. But I noticed like going to Syracuse, like I had like gloves and stuff that like guys were like warming up gloves um like in between media timeouts. I was like, why do you guys do that? Like, let me try it. So I like, you know, ended up getting like two pairs of gloves and kind of just like feeling that out with it. Like I kind of like that too. So yeah.
Wait, say that again. So they're like they're switching gloves like with every media timeout that comes by?
Yeah, like so like our trainers will have like guys will rotate between two pairs or three pairs and like they'll have pairs like on the heaters in between.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then like the ones they're wearing, they'll switch them, and then like they'll get the ones that are like hot.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right, yeah.
Yeah,
I've seen Ryan O'Reilly do that before where they've got multiple pairs basically being cycled while the
just
game's going
cycled.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. I
I was
got
like,
you.
what is this? I was like, I kind of like my gloves like wet. So then, but obviously being there, I was like, well, like let me try this out, and then I kind of ended up liking it. So I'm not like superstitious. I'm not like a guy who's like got to be this way. I feel like um, I like obviously have a big routine, but like someone who likes to try new things and stuff like that.
So you are convinced like is that going to be your new standard going forward? You're going to swap in the dry ones at a media timeout or what do you think?
Oh, we'll see. We'll see. Like it's all based off like feel for me. Like if I feel good doing that, then I'll do that. I want to switch it up, switch it up. So
Awesome. Yeah, I didn't think that was a thing in the AHL. I thought, but I guess
yeah,
even the AHL guys do it now
I
too.
know we were treated really nice there in Syracuse. So many like good things to say about that organization. It was awesome.
Yeah.
That was awesome. So you talk about not being like very particular about all your like your gear and all that, but like, growing up, did you have a particular brand that you would always go with? Were you kind of a guy that jumped around a little bit to try like the next great thing, or what was your brand, your go-to brand?
Yeah, um I think I was jumping like around a little bit, but I always used like Bauer sticks like growing up, um, just because that was like what I liked. Like the midget league in Montreal was all CCM, and I remember like using like the rib cores all the time. So I remember always using the rib core growing up, and then towards the end of like my midget year, started using like this Bauer stick, and then like I think it was the 1X light, um, the one that was like all red, and like that was like the one that I really liked. And um, then I remember like our coach like texting me being like, "Hey, like the league's calling us like because you're using this Bauer stick. Like, what's up with this?" I was like, "Geez, like we're midget. Like I'm only 14. I didn't think this was like a thing." He's like, "Yeah, like we're gonna get fined. You gotta stop using that thing." Like, okay. So yeah, and then I got to prep school and I started uh just using the Nexus stick. Like I just like that one. Even tried like the Warrior one, some Warrior sticks that I really liked. But then I kind of just stick with like the Nexus, and then yeah, kind of used the Vapors and Nexus and Vapor like growing up, and then switched to CCM, which has been awesome too. So yeah.
So, coming from midgets in Montreal and then going to the USHL, and there may have been some stops in the beginning. There was obviously no adjustment that you had when you got to Des Moines, because they were, by the time you got to Des Moines, they were still with they were on their Bauer deal, so that was pretty smooth sailing for you, would you say?
Yeah, it was pretty smooth. I was just using I think they were Vapor Hyperlights, or kind of like that brand was starting to come out, that make. So I was using those, and I love like the Geos, like those old Geos. So I was like flipping, flopping between those two sticks, whichever like kind of felt good at the time. So
Yeah, okay. And then so then you get to UMass after Des Moines, and I believe it was both. It was for sure your freshman year, UMass was still a Bauer school, and I
yeah,
believe they were still a Bauer school after for your sophomore year as well. Do you remember? Um,
we switched to CCM my sophomore year.
Okay, cool. So
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to get into. So obviously, then it's a switch to full CCM. Take us through what you remember like from there. I mean like everything, not necessarily like adjustment from using the equipment, but like what do you remember like getting to campus and being like, oh, like where was CCM now? Like how did you find out, and like what was it like? Placing an order, and how was it different? From when you guys were with Bauer your freshman year.
Yeah, I think there wasn't too much of like a ordering all that kind of difference, but I mean like I remember like working with Penner here at UMass, just being like, hey, like what's going on? Like could guys still stick with Bauer skates? Like because guys are don't want to be switching. And he's like, yeah, but everybody's gonna get CCM, like a pair of CCMs. And I was like, oh, okay, like, cool. He's like, I suggest you switch, like like it's gonna be really good for you, like all this kind of stuff. And it'll be like a lot more, custom, a lot more detailed. And I was like, yeah, like, I'm always open to give it a shot. So I remember they all came in and we got fitted for skates and sticks. And I remember, talking to some of their guys, being like, hey, like, can I come down to the shop in Montreal and, like figure some stuff out for like what I like. And they were like so cool about it, and kind of got scheduled there, and got like a three like sensors on my sticks and stuff, and like a couple other sticks. And basically came down to like I needed like a higher, like a little bit of a higher flex, and I had more accuracy with a certain stick than the one I was using. I always use like rip cores. I was like I use rip cores and midgets, so I was like, oh, I'll just keep using them, like they work for me. So but then they're like, no, you should switch to like attacks. So I was like, okay, like sounds good. So now I've always used attacks stick. since then because I don't know, analytically it says that, my shot, better with that. So I was like, yeah, all right, like let's do that. So and then we switched my flex. So they were awesome, helped me out a lot. Skates have been good. Switching to skates was a little tough at first, but I mean, worked out. So
So your sticks are because you were showing the jet speed line, so your sticks are just dressed as the jet speed line
yeah,
and it's tacks underneath.
yeah, yeah, I just like the jet speed like look, kind of like I just like all black like sticks.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds-
Do you like really quick, Lucas, like do you have a because like that's the case with a lot of people and it like there's questions from like multiple angles with these guys like obviously Sid like he clearly loves the Reckoner and like a guy like Kirill Kaprizov he loves like the Nexus Sync look he refuses to use the tracer or whatever like is that what it is? Like for you, uh, you're just so particular about like a look of it that you don't like wanna take a chance and mess with it. Like, do you have any theories for why those guys are like that in terms of just the way the stick looks?
Yeah, I think just like at least for me, I can't really like speak for anybody else, but I just love like the simplicity. Like I don't like a flashy like all white like stick. Like I just like can't like do that. Like just for me, but I know works for some guys, and obviously I think it's everything's cool. Like I'm a big fan of like guys like with whatever they use, but I think just for me in particular, like I just like a slick all black, just kind of look, not too flashy, not too crazy. Like I used like a red like FT5, I think, like my sophomore year.
Yeah,
Um, that I really liked because it was like red and black. But I mean, um, that was kind of like the only time I've kind of used like a little bit of a, I guess, flashier stick, if you'd say. But I mean, I've been kind of going with the all black look the past, 2, 3 years, which I really like. I know like that FT8 looks all black and stuff, and probably kind of just upgrading from that. I don't really have to stay in the FT7 for me. Like it's all the same stick. It's just wrapped. So
yeah. Totally. Yeah. And we've seen some guys at the have had like the FT8 is that the big part of the upper part of the shaft is like a silver or like a dark gray. So should
yeah,
be
I've seen that.
pretty smooth transition for you, I'd say.
Yeah, yeah. So that all black look is kind of what I look for in sticks.
Good stuff.
Yeah, so we hear it all the time in junior and in college that equipment availability and the quantity of it can vary by the team. How would you describe it was for you at UMass? Did you guys have like a set number that they gave you, or was it kind of like, hey, I need something, let's go?
Yeah, it's kind of just like, hey, I need this, and it's like, let's go. Yeah, like you said.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really easy. Like, um, it was super super easy. Like our equipment manager here is top notch. Josh, he's unreal. You go into his office, you shoot the shit with him for a bit, and then whenever you need like gloves, whatever, like he'll order it for you. Sticks too, like growing up, like I didn't have the luxury of like getting your name on your stick, like picking your flex. Like, I didn't grow up with, a lot of, wealth and stuff. So, I mean, like once I got to college, I was like, man, like this is so cool. I've always, like, dreamt to like get your name on your stick. Like, I think that's like awesome. Like, choose like what kind of flex you want. Like, I think it's sick. So, I for sure don't take that stuff for granted.
Awesome. Yeah. So you've been mentioning your equipment manager Josh a while, a few times I should say now on this. How from your perspective, do you think you are more along the lines of of Duncan Keith, or not even close to Duncan Keith in terms of what you need from them? How would, if you were in if you were in Josh's perspective, I should say, what would his review be about you?
I think his review would be about me is that I'm just very like particular with my blades.
Okay, yeah.
Is what
So,
he'll
all
say.
right, yeah.
Like he'll get a little mad at me because I'm like, Penner, I need new blades like right now. Like here we go. Like so it'll be practice. Like I don't know. Sometimes it'll be like every day. Sometimes I won't ask for blades for a week. Sometimes like I won't ask for them for 2 or 3 days. Or sometimes it could be like, hey, blade, I need blades. I need blades. Like so could be I could switch them every period. I could switch them, like twice in a period. Like you just don't know. So sometimes he'll look at me and be like, "Mercs," and I'm like, "Yeah, it is what it is." But that's kind of like the only thing. But yeah, sticks and all that. Some like I'll go through a couple pairs of gloves a year, maybe like eight pairs gloves a year in college, just because they rip like they just rip so much. Like even like just like face offs and all that. Like just like kind of where I play the game, just mostly like in the corners a little bit. So my gloves just rip a ton.
Interesting, yeah. So just like a quick piggyback off of that, like uh what are some other notes in terms of like your gear? Like I know you said the blades, but like how often are you getting them sharpened? Is it every period? Is it every game or how often for that? And anything else? Like do you need
Yeah,
like do you sock tape around your skates? No offense, I can't stand when people do that. I think it hinders people's skating ability. I'm
yeah,
not one to tell and pros and D1 guys how to do it, but that's just my personal opinion. But so
yeah,
anything along the lines of that.
yeah. I don't do that, but I mean, yeah, I need like a fresh set of blades every day, pretty much. Like kind
So
of just
not every period, but like every day.
yeah, every like practice day.
Okay.
Every like I don't like they'll have morning skate and then like I like a fresh set like after like I want to be like fresh set for the game.
Mhm.
But when I was younger, I kind of liked them like a little bit more dull for the game. Like I wanted to use them once. So I kind of switched that throughout the year this year too. I was like, yeah, like let me use them the day before, see if I like them. If not, then we'll change them. Um, but Penner did a really good job of taking care of that. And for like sticks and stuff, like probably go through like a stick a week, honestly, because it just like the position I play, like playing center, we're like I take like 30 face-offs a game, maybe 25, 30 face-offs a game. So my blade is just always breaking. Like in the middle of the blade, there's always a crack somewhere. Just because of like how many times like the blade will get pounded like off like face-offs. Like the way I take them is I don't know, kind of like a little aggressively. So there's just always going through that impact. So Benner was really good about giving me like a stick whenever I kind of needed it. Got so bad that I needed like a face off stick in practice because I work on them in practice a lot. So it'll be like they'll be breaking in practice. So it's like I'm going through all these sticks. So I needed one that was like always broken that I'd use like after practice. So um, until that one would eventually shatter, and then I'd go through like another one, and then so that helped like kind of not order 100 sticks a year. So, um, but yeah, anything else like not really. Once I got to pro, I was like I like needed my visor wiped down like every like 3 shifts for some reason. I don't know why. Just because of like I said, kind of the way I play is like in front of the net. Like there's always like water going everywhere. So our equipment managers are really nice about that. So that was awesome.
Probably some of those old AHL barns that are just get a little hot in there this time of year, and that's probably
Condensation.
why.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
No, but so a follow-up to that about the, your the blade of your stick and whatnot. We were talking about this a little bit off camera. I think it's a good time for you to share that. So we noticed that you use a max height blade. And at least from my perspective, I feel like more defensemen typically use that than forwards do. But you have a good reason for why you use it, and so why don't you get into that and share what you have planned for the future as well.
Yeah, so I think my blade's max, like you said, and it's like extra stiff. And just like the reason for that is just because of the intense like impact that like just face off tips, and all that stuff. That's why it keeps, like it just keeps breaking at the blade. So that's kind of why I wanted to move to that max blade, but also just like tipping pucks, um, taking face offs, like all that kind of stuff. Like it just helps like so much with that area. But I think I don't know, just talking with a lot of people, like I've been really thinking about, kind of just moving it down just a little bit because it helps with your shot apparently. So I'll be trying that a little bit in the summer. And something a lot of guys find weird about my stick is like the shaft is like towards the bottom. It's like kind of hexagonish. So it's just really like it's a lot thicker towards the bottom. So if like you were to like feel all the way like up the stick, you'd notice like this how it gets like a little bulkier towards like kind of like the CCM logo. Um, and that's just like for draws too. Like I like feeling like that kind of shape like around my hand and stuff for sticks. So
Oh yeah, like when your right hand is down, like when you're
down,
taking face
yeah,
off. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
obviously. Yeah.
So I think it's an ASV1 build, like tax AS. Is that what it was called, right?
The
Yeah.
AS1.
Yeah, the AS1 or ASV. Yeah, AS1, I think. I think
Okay.
that's what it is.
There's
So,
both. There's the ASV was well, I think it was the AS5, but um yeah, the AS1 was obviously the older one. That was like circa 2019, I think was when it came
yeah.
to retail.
I believe the ASV or ASV1 was the first time that they had that like little bit thicker towards the
Yeah,
bottom, like that
Yeah.
little bit
that's
blob.
what I'm using. Like that's what I'm using. It's I think it was around 2022 or 2023. Like that came out. I think Bergeron was using it too, and I was like, that's kind of like what I got fitted for at the factory, and I was like, okay, like let's run with this thing.
There we go. Yeah. But speaking of face-offs, it doesn't get much better than Patrice Bergeron. So
Yeah,
he's doing it. Yeah. Good stuff.
exactly.
And how about the one thing we had noticed is in your earlier years at UMass Amherst, you were more of a black tape guy on the blade of your stick, but the last 2 years you've switched it up to white. Now I didn't have too many views. Obviously, there's not too many as many photos of you as there are, NHL guys, but it did seem like for the most part you've become a white tape on the blade type of guy. Uh, what went into making that change?
Yeah, I think just like I said, like I'm not like superstitious that much. I am a little bit, but um I think just like going off of like feel and things like that. I remember like freshman year, like kind of the way I played was a little bit more of like a grinder style role and checking forward, which, obviously I still am and will, always be and all that, but just kind of like the role I played was more black tape kind of. I don't know if that makes any sense. Uh, but and now
It doesn't have to make sense. Just,
yeah,
just roll with it.
yeah, switching to white, it just feels better a little bit. I just like the way it looks a bit more. Hands feel a little bit better. But like I was thinking like the other day, like oh, kind of miss being with black tape. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But for now, it'll be white for a while. I think.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. All right, yeah. Well, we've kept you for quite a bit here. This has been a great conversation, and who knows? Maybe a year from now, we might ask you to come back on to explain how the first full season as a pro went. Depending on where you are, but I guess one last thing to kind of send you off here is like, what are and you've already had a taste of this, obviously, but. What's something, from either an equipment side or a hockey side in general, that you're most looking forward to as you approach the NHL, or maybe even something, in the AHL that you hadn't experienced yet from those first handful of games?
Yeah, I think like I've just been so fortunate to, be working with people that help me like so much. Like everyone thinks it's a lot different when you get to pro, but I mean college is awesome. Like Penner, like I said, like UMass, like in general, like you get anything you want whenever. Like it's we're very, very, very grateful here, very fortunate to do that. But obviously like when I got to pro, like Brandon, who's the equipment manager there, was so helpful. Like whatever you need, it's just like you know they just help you out like right then and there, just to make you feel welcome, make you feel comfortable. But obviously, like just like gloves feeling good, blades feeling good. I think I'll be going to the CCM factory next week when I'm in Montreal just to get some skate stuff squared away. So that'll be good. So I'm excited for that. And they set all that up, like the guys in Syracuse, like Josh Penner too, like helping me out with that stuff. So I mean, been it's been good.
It's awesome.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, once again, thank you very much for coming on with us today, Lucas. And we can't say enough, all the best going forward. We're wishing you a great summer, and you can bet that we'll be keeping tabs on you once September comes around. And we when you get that first call up, we're gonna be going nuts. That's for sure. But
Yeah.
baby steps, we're gonna be cheering for you. Let's put it that way.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. Truly.